Hello viewers, and welcome once again. We are still under logic, cry the almighty God's algebra. Today we are going to treat principle of logical implication. Principle of logical implication. Let us start. Principle of logical implication. P implies P or Q is tautology if and only if and only if P and only if P is logical implication of P or Q. So this is principle of logical implication. You say that P implies P or Q is tautology if and only if P is logical implication of P or Q. You will find out that P implies P or Q is tautology. If it's case that is tautology, it means that this implication P is a proper implication of P or Q. That means that P is a subset of P or Q. That's why we say that if that is the case, say that P is logical implication, that it is certain that P exists. A logical implication of P or Q. So let us prove the principle. Proof. Suppose P implies P or Q is tautology. We assume that this statement P implies P or Q is tautology and is our hypothesis. From there, we are going to prove that P is logical implication of P or Q. So if this is true, also this also must also be true. If and only if not P or bracket P or Q is tautology. That means we have not substituted this P implies P or Q with not P or bracket P or Q. That means they are logical equivalent by first education law. So it's by first education law that we substitute this P implies P or Q with not P or bracket P or Q. So being justified by first education law. If and only if not P or bracket P and bracket P or Q is tautology. we see that you have now substituted this not P or bracket P or Q with not P or bracket P and bracket P or Q. So it's still logical equivalent being justified by second education law. So by second education law, we substitute this not P or bracket P or Q with not P or bracket P and bracket P or Q. So be justified by second education law. If and only if not P or bracket P or Q upon not P is tautology. You see that this P and bracket P or Q, that is conjunctive statement, has now been transformed to conditional statement. That's why you have P or Q upon not P. That means not P implies P or Q. And it's still tautology. You see, equivalent to this. So it's been justified by Christ Almighty God's grace. It's through Christ Almighty God's grace that we transform this P and the bracket P or Q to this P or Q upon not P. So be justified by Christ the Almighty God's grace. We continue to this side. If and only if not P upon not P or bracket P or Q. You see that this not P has now been distributed to this first disjunct not P. That's why we have not P upon not P or bracket P or Q. So, and it's still tautology because not P upon not P is tautology. And tautology all with any time is seen as tautology. So, is tautology being justified by the spirit of implication is by the spirit of implication that is straight we distribute this not P to this first disjunct not P. So it's being justified by the spirit of implication. Distribution of implication. We continue. So if and only if. Now we're going to revise this not P to conjunctive statement because it's being derived from this conjunctive statement. For this conjunctive statement. So when I want to revise it, it's going to be also a conjunctive statement. So this not P is going to be in conjunctive statement. That means we're going to have not P and P or bracket P or Q. We see now it's no more tautology. It's not P or Q. It's equal to P or Q because not P and P is F And when f that means positive is all with any term, setting as that term. So when p, not p and p, all with p or q is setting as p or q. So it is p or q. Now the statement has now been extenuated. It's now extenuated to it's extenuated from tautology. So we say that is extenuation of not p upon not p or bracket p or q. So being justified by Christ Almighty God's grace. It's through Christ Almighty God's grace that we transform this not p upon not p, that means this conditional statement, to this not p and p. That means the conjunctive statement, the conjunctive statement. So it's been justified by Christ Almighty God's grace. Being justified by Christ the Almighty God's grace. So if and only if F or bracket P or Q. You have now substituted this not P and P with F by law of complement. So it's a law of complement that substitutes not P and P with F and is still equivalent to P or Q. That means is explanation of this tautology. Is explanation of not P upon not P or bracket P or Q being justified by law of complement. Being justified by law of complement. We continue to this side. If and only if P or Q is extenuation of not P upon not P or bracket P or Q. You will see that this F or bracket P or Q is being substituted with P or Q because whenever F is all with N represented at that time. So that's why we substitute this F or bracket P or Q with P or Q, being justified by a law of identity. In through law of identity, we substitute that F or bracket P or Q with P or Q. So being justified by law of identity. If and only if P and P or Q. You see that this P or Q is now being substituted with P and P all in brackets or Q. That means this P has now been substituted with P and the P and is still equivalent to P or Q. That's why I have P and the P all in brackets or Q. So since it's still P or Q, it's still a solution of not P or not P upon not P or bracket P or Q. is acceleration of not P upon not P or bracket P or Q being justified by law of idempotent. Is through law of idempotent that substitute this P with P and the P. Being justified by law of idempotent. Because of this side, if and only if P upon not P or Q. You see that this P, this conjunctive statement P and P has now been transformed to conditional statement. That means P upon not P. And it's still P or Q. Because P upon not P is P. So if it is P, it is P or Q. So it's P or Q. So it's still equivalent to P or Q. So if it's the same equivalent to P or Q, it's a solution of this tautology. Is extenuation of not P upon not P or bracket P or Q. Being justified by Christ Almighty God's grace. It's through that Almighty God's grace that we transform this P and the P. That means this conjunctive statement to conditional statement. So being justified by Christ the Almighty God's grace. If and only if P or Q upon not P. You have now distributed this not P to the second disjunct. That's why we have P or Q upon not P. That means not P implies Q. And it's still P or Q. It's still P or Q. So, since it's still P or Q, that means it's also a solution of the tautology. Is extenuation of not P upon not P or bracket P or Q. So being justified by description of implication is because this not P is distributed to this second disjunct Q. So through the description of implication. So it's been justified by description of implication. By distribution of implication. Being justified by distribution of implication. So if and only if P or bracket P and Q. You see that you have now transformed this conditional statement, that means not P implies Q, to conjunctive statement, to conjunctive statement. Reason is that this implication not P is being generated from conjunctive statement. This P and the P. So whenever I want to write it, it will also be a conjunctive statement. That's why I have P and the Q. So it becomes P or bracket P and the Q. And now it's no more equivalent to P or Q. It's now P. It's now P. So it's not estimation of this P or Q upon not P. That means P or Q. Is estimation of P or bracket P or Q upon not P. Being justified by Christ Almighty God's grace. It's through Christ Almighty God's grace that we transform this object statement to conjunctive statement. So being justified by Christ the Almighty God's grace. We can go to this side. We have now proved, see, this P or bracket P and Q is equivalent to P by law of absorption. By law of absorption, this P or bracket P and Q is equal to P. As it is equal to P, is the expression of P or Q upon not P. That means P or Q. If and only if P is estimation of P or Q upon not P. Being justified by law of absorption. By law of absorption. Now, we have now proved it. Since P is expression of P or Q upon not P, it means that this P or Q upon not P is P or Q. And this explanation means that this P is a subset of P or Q. And if it's a subset of P or Q, it means that this P is a logical implication of P or Q. That means is a proper subset. This P is a proper subset of P or Q. So we then say thus, since this P is a section of P or Q upon not P, we say they say thus P is logical implication of P or Q, because this P or Q upon not P is equivalent to P or Q. So we're going to prove the converse. We're going to prove the converse. That means we're going to prove that this P is logical implication So we're going to assume that this is true. P is logical implication of P or Q. We then derive that P implies P or Q is tautology. So we say conversely, conversely, so suppose P is logical P is logical implication of P or Q. So we assume that P is this P is logical implication of P or Q. We assume that it is truth. So we are going to prove, since we assume that it is truth, we're going to prove that it is P implies P or Q, since this P is logical implication of P or Q. So that means since P is proper implication of P or Q, so whenever it implies P or Q, it is tautology. We're going to prove it. So, and it's our hypothesis. So if this is true, also this also must also be true. Continue to this side. If and only if P or bracket P and Q. Now we substitute this P with P or bracket P and Q by law of absorption. By law of absorption, this P is not equivalent to P or bracket P and Q. So since it's logical equivalent to P, is C logical implication of P or Q. So is logical implication of P or Q being justified by law of absorption, by law of absorption. If and only if P or bracket P and bracket not P or Q. Now this P and P or bracket P and Q is being substituted with this P or bracket P and bracket not P or Q by second H's law, because this P and bracket not P or Q is equal to P. So it's equal to P and Q or P. So it's equivalent to P or bracket P and Q. Since it's equivalent to P or bracket P and Q, is C logical implication of P or Q. Is logical implication of P or Q being justified by second etiquette law. Being justified by second etiquette law. If and only if P or bracket not P or Q upon not P. Now it's no more equivalent to this statement. That means no more equivalent to P. It's not equivalent to tautology because this not P or Q upon not P, that means not P implies not P or Q is tautology. And tautology all with anytime is certain as tautology. So you say that is tautology. Now you see that this statement, this conjunctive statement has now been transformed to conditional statement through Christ Almighty God's grace. So it's been justified through the Christ Almighty God's grace. Being justified by Christ the Almighty God's grace. We go to this side. So if and only if P upon not P or bracket not P or Q. See that this implication, not P, has now been distributed to the first disjunct P. That's why it becomes P upon not P or bracket not P or Q is still tautology because P upon not P, that means not P implies P is P. So P or bracket not P or Q is tautology. So is tautology being justified by distribution of implication. It's through implication that we display this not P to this first disjunct P. So being justified by distribution of implication. So if and only if P and the P or bracket not P or Q. You see that you have now this not P, this P upon not P, the conjunctive statement has now been transformed to conjunctive statement P and the P. Because this implication, not P, is being derived from conjunctive statement. That means P and bracket, not P or Q. We derive it. So when you want to revise it, it's going to be also in conjunctive statement. That's why it becomes P and the P. So, and it's still now being distributed and it's still P. So, and it's still tautology. It's still tautology. Is tautology because P or bracket, not P or Q, is tautology. So being justified by Christ Almighty God's grace. It's through the Christ Almighty God's grace that we transform this P upon not P to constitute statements P and the P. So be justified by Christ the Almighty God's grace. Continue to this side. So if and only if P or bracket not P or Q, you have now this statement, this P and P is substituted with P because by law of idempotent, P and P is equal to P. That's why I substitute this P and P with P, and it's still tautology. Is tautology being justified by law of idempotency. Being justified by law of idempotency. So if and only if P or not P, all in bracket, or Q. Now we associated P or not P, and it still preserve equivalent of this P or bracket, not P or Q. That means we substitute this P or bracket, not P or Q, with P or not P or Q. It still preserve equivalent by law of associativity. So is tautology being justified by law of associativity, by law of associativity. We continue. Say if and only if not P or P or Q. Is still substitute this P or not P or Q with P or not P or Q with not P or P or Q by law of commutativity. That means this first disjoint here in this statement, this second disjoint becomes first disjoint here, and this first disjoint becomes second disjoint here. That means commutativity, and it still preserve equivalent, logic equivalent. So since it still preserve logic equivalent, is tautology. Is tautology being justified by law of commutativity, Also, if and only if not P or bracket P or Q. So you substitute this not P or Q with not P or bracket P or Q. by law of associativity, and it still preserves logic equivalent. So since it still preserves logic equivalent, is tautology. Is tautology being justified by law of associativity. By law of associativity. We continue with this side. If and only if P implies P or Q. You see that we have now substituted this not P or brackets P or Q with P implies P or Q by first Etiquette law. So by first Etiquette law, we have transformed this disjunctive statement to conditional statement by first Etiquette law. This disjunctive statement has now been transformed to conditional statement and is still preserve logical equivalent. They are logical equivalent. So since they are logical equivalent, is still tautology. Is tautology being justified by first Etiquette law. Being justified by first Etiquette law. We have now proved that P implies Q is tautology. So from this P is logical implication of P or Q. We have shown that it is true. We have now proved that P implies P or Q is tautology. So we say thus P implies P or Q is tautology. Now, since I've now proved the converse, we then establish that the principle of logical implication, P implies P or Q, is tautology if and only if P is logical implication of P or Q. So we say, therefore, P implies P or Q is tautology if and only if P is logical implication of P or Q. So we have now concluded that P implies P or Q is tautology if and only if P is logical implication of P or Q is principle of logical implication. So at this juncture, we shall draw our curtain. Thank you, viewers.